Alrighty, everyone. Mesomat back here this morning with y'all. It is September 7th, 2024. Appreciate y'all for watching this. If you guys can do me a huge favor, share this out to as many people as possible. Like the video as always, and comment if you guys have any questions. We are getting ready for what could become a landfalling tropical system in the United States later on this coming week. We're talking between the hour time frame of Tuesday and Friday. Really looking more toward Thursday, Friday time frame, but this is going to be along the Texas and Louisiana coastline. We'll have a conditional tornado risk with tropical tornadoes possible, have extensive heavy rainfall totals possible, depending on where this in fact tracks or develops at or where the low center goes. And we're also going to have a little bit of wind with this as well. So we've got a couple things we're watching. We got some models that are starting to come into agreement now. Pretty good model consistency between the two long-range models. The Icon, the CMC, all these other hurricane models are starting to kind of show their display of what we're going to be looking at as well. But it's more and more likely that we will have tropical depression Francine here within the next 48 to 72 hours. And we're going to talk about that here mostly throughout this video. We'll cover a little bit of the basis of what's going to be happening after this week, but really going to be focusing in this video, like I said, on our hurricane potential here. And so we'll go ahead and start out this video, guys. Once again, guys, share this out to as many people as possible. We're trying to get as many people prepped and ready to go along the Texas, Louisiana coastline here and well far inland as well into Louisiana and Mississippi, as we could have a pretty decent rain event across much of the deep south later on this week. We'll go ahead and start out here by showing the hurricane percentage. This is the 8 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center this morning. We are now up to a 40% chance of this becoming a tropical depression within the next 2 days, 60% chance within the next 7 days. I do think that this will get upgraded to a high risk or high development region here throughout at some point today, whether it's the 11 o'clock advisory or the 2 or the later on this afternoon advisories. This will probably get shaded into a red area later on this afternoon, meaning 70 to 100% chance of development within a 7-day period and probably a 60% chance in the next 2 days. That's kind of my thinking on what's going to happen. We can actually see a pretty big area of showers and convections and thunderstorms ongoing across the Yucatan right now. We've got 2 lows, and I was kind of talking about this last night on the live stream. We've got 2 lows present here. We've got a low up here, this invest area that's been talked about all week that hasn't really done anything. This is actually going to start to work its way south as we have this other low that's developing here in the Yucatan, and this is going to merge with both of these lows with a surface front that'll be approaching and kind of pushing both of these lows together to where they'll interact and potentially now become a tropical depression with one big broad low pressure system. And this is starting to become a trend where we're starting to see this become either a tropical storm or can't really still rule out a hurricane, a Cat 1 hurricane potentially, if this does in fact intensify and get itself together. In worst case scenario, we could have a hurricane out of this. I don't think it's going to be a major hurricane or any of that. I think it would be like a low-end Cat 1 if anything, but it looks to be more likely that we'll have a tropical storm making landfall sometime between Tuesday and Friday, either along the eastern Texas coastline or Louisiana. And it's looking more and more and more like the Louisiana coastline around the Lake Charles, kind of Lafayette areas where we're thinking that would be around. Like I said, this is our ongoing satellite convection right now. We're going to continue to watch this and see how this kind of unfolds over the next couple days. So make sure you guys pay attention to my videos. We're going to be doing live stream updates every afternoon now, talking about this, getting y'all's questions here. So just kind of be mindful of that. We've also got another area here in the Atlantic Ocean that we're watching as well. 30% chance in the next 7 days, 0% in the next 2. You can see this tropical wave that's starting to kind of enter that region here. The models actually have this becoming a hurricane, believe it or not, later on at the end of the week and kind of swooping out here towards Bermuda once again. So we'll watch and see what that does. Also watching a coastal low here off the coast of the Carolinas is here. This doesn't look like it's going to do anything as of right now. We'll just kind of keep our eyes on it. No severe weather expected across the United States for the next 2 to 3 days, which is super, super exciting. It's really going to be all what happens here with the convection and what is going to happen here with our hurricane development chance. Now, I do want to show you guys what the models are suggesting. We're going to go over 3 different models here with the with this invest area that we're going to get ready to have. It's not an invest yet, but it will be an invest here soon. We'll start out here with the GFS model. The GFS is the most aggressive with this as of this morning. Last night we were seeing this kind of start to pull together a stronger tropical storm. Now the models have this developing as a low around Tuesday morning, early Tuesday morning here in the Yucatan. You get an official broad low pressure center here with a 106 millibar reading. And then this would eventually kind of develop here into a tropical storm. We got a 101 by Tuesday afternoon. So we can see how quickly this thing could get its act together, dropping down to 993 and then strengthening and riding the Texas coastline where once again, the GFS model has a 977 millibar low potential Cat 1 hurricane, or even, you know, something bigger than that here. If this storm can organize quickly, if this storm can tap into that warm waters, it's very, very warm water here in the Gulf of Mexico. We have an unused environment, so this storm really has all it needs to significantly intensify if it wants to. Like I said, this is the GFS. The GFS likes to go a little bit aggressive. I just wanted to show you guys that model run, and then this would kind of move into Louisiana and bring a lot of rainfall in. Now, the European model, a lot different of a situation here. We're going to be talking about this one a lot more than the GFS, more than likely, but you got that low pressure center that's going to be dipping down south, the low over here that'll develop in the Yucatan, and we can see more of an unorganized low develop until we get to about Tuesday, Wednesday here. And this will actually potentially move as well into parts of Louisiana as a disorganized storm. This would have maybe a tropical depression. So right now, this is more of the scenario that we kind of lean towards, but all other models could kind of can trend. It's just something that we're going to have to watch until we get an invest or area of low pressure to develop. We're really not going to have an idea on what's exactly going to happen with this. Now, the SSE other model, I don't show this a lot, but when we're dealing with hurricanes and tropical systems, we typically like to show this. You guys are going to pay attention to the left side of the screen over here. I couldn't zoom in any bigger than what's already on the screen here, so just kind of be mindful of that. But this is going to be that low that does develop here along the Yucatan area here. It'll move it down south. It'll develop at the low off of the Campeche City area here, and then this develops into a strong tropical storm before making landfall around the Texas Louisiana coastline on Wednesday, so around the 9/11 time frame here. So this is something we're going to have to watch before a lot of moisture, a lot of heavy rain falls here. I want to also show you guys the two model comparisons here with the rainfall totals, and this is just going to be through Thursday. You can see the difference here along with the GFS. This is showing, you know, anywhere from a half a foot to a foot of rainfall here in the Galveston area. Back up here in Louisiana, 1 to 5, you know, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. Would see higher amounts locally possible as well. That's the difference with the GFS there, and then the European model, once again, going a little bit more lighter with the rainfall until we get to that Thursday, Friday time frame, where we could see a lot of this fall out over the ocean. But along the coastline here, 3 to 5, 5 to 8 inches, maybe some 10+ inch range totals here as far as we go into the later half of next week and into the weekend for the 3rd week of September. So we got a lot to figure out here still, guys. The biggest key takeaway is going to be heavy rainfall, tropical storm conditions, and probably some tropical tornadoes will be somewhere along the eastern Texas coastline and Louisiana coastline as we go throughout the week this week, starting probably on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. The worst impacts being possibly on Thursday and Friday in Louisiana and far eastern Texas, the coastline there between Lake Charles, Galveston area is just kind of what we're thinking right now with this. We'll keep you guys updated on the latest on that. Now, another thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be the overall jet stream pattern here. We've been talking about this a lot. What's going to happen with the month of September? You know, where are we going to keep the fall weather? Are we going to keep these warm temperatures? Well, sadly, guys, we can kind of kiss the fall weather goodbye here for just a little bit here. This low pressure system that's been bringing us that cooler weather is actually going to exit the country on Sunday. And as we open up the door for Monday and through next week, we're really going to have not much of an active pattern other than the tropics going on down here. You can see what's called a zonal jet stream kind of start to set up here for a brief period next week. This is going to keep everything relatively quiet with the exception of the tropics down south for much of the United States. But as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, this is going to be your biggest takeaway. We will have severe weather return as we go into next week, late next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday probably, and then clearly with the tropics here. This is going to be what's called a negatively tilted trough. And negative tilted troughs bring severe weather. They bring high instability values sometimes. They bring dew points that we need for severe weather. It's typically a good, it's a good severe weather chance as we go into next week. So like I said, dealing with the tropics, dealing with severe weather as we go through the later half of next week is going to be a pretty big problem for parts of the United States here. Really start to see this become more negatively tilted as we go into Thursday and Friday. So I would expect some type of severe weather event, maybe a slight risk or enhanced risk or something along the lines of that on Friday as we go into parts of the Dakotas, into parts of Nebraska here, Minnesota. But this is something we're going to have to watch and then continuing to watch the remnants of whatever tropical low we have. Now, as we go into the later half of the weekend, next weekend, we start to see another trough ejection come through and then possibly, you know, multiple shortwave troughs as we go into the 3rd week of September. And this is something I've been really, like I said, continuing to talk about with you guys, continuing to see severe weather start to ramp up again as we go into next week, into the 3rd week of September, and possibly into the 4th week. Anytime we start to see these bowling ball trough ejections, we had a couple here that were showing up over, you know, a 5 to 7 day time frame. That typically shows a very active jet stream. And that typically can signal cold front inversion. They can cold fronts. You can have warm fronts with that. You can have, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes with it as far as different air masses in severe weather and all the other stuff that comes with it. So this is something we're going to watch for you guys over the next couple of days. I wanted to keep this this video short for you guys so you guys can get a grasp on what we're looking at with the models as far as our tropical system. Be very, very mindful once again, guys. This will more than likely become an invest here before today is over with here on Saturday. Tomorrow morning when we're making our video, or tonight on live stream, we'll probably be talking about an area of low pressure, continuing to watch these showers and storms develop around the Yucatan here. And the quicker that the storm can get together, the better chance that this has of strengthening into a stronger tropical storm. Cat 1 hurricane can't be ruled out as of right now with some of these models, or worst best case scenario here, we get just a tropical depression with a broad low center here. So we'll keep you guys updated. If you were in Texas, if you were in Louisiana, get prepped now. This isn't going to be a major hurricane or any of that, but this could become just a nuisance as far as rainfall and a bunch of other things go. But other than that, guys, be safe, be weather aware, and I will holler at y'all later on tonight for the live stream.